Hi, good evening, everyone. With me is Dr. Ojas Jain sharing his success story as to how you can actually crack NEET SS, this which he is cleared in the medical group in September 23 with a fantastic rank of 48 All India. Congratulations, Dr. Ojas.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everybody. And I'm very uh, helpful here that Dr. has provided me a platform to be and crack this exam.
Yeah, so Dr. Ojas, first tell us. I mean, of course, you did fantastically well. We all know that, but just for the sake of a lot of students ask us, "Kitna question attempt kiya, kitna mark aaya?" So just if you can share that. I mean, out of 150, how many did you attempt?
Sir, I attempt all of the questions, sir.
Okay, so that's the big key success. I was doing All India Rank 4 interview before yours, and he also was saying, I mean, he wanted to attempt most of them, and he did attempt 140. So 10 is the only thing that he left. So that strategy, with previously some students used to say, just do 120, 130, negative aega to kam hoga, is not the right strategy. We've been telling this for the long, and Dr. Ojas is one of the example. He's attempted all 150 wherever he felt that this is the best choice. That's what he has attempted, and that's one strategy.
Yeah.
So,
I
Dr.
think,
Ojas,
sir, that
can you tell
negative
us
marking
about
is only. I think, sir, negative marking is only 1/4. So one
correct?
should keep his mark high. Even if you don't
Absolutely,
know
I think
the
it's
answer, that you should try.
yeah, it's the law of probability. I mean, if you know that either of the two is the option, probability is 50%, and you have 25% at stake. So of being wrong, and that's how a lot of people actually play it around. I mean, that's one strategy that a lot of people attempt with. So, Doctor, just
Right, sir.
tell us about yourself. You did your PG from, I believe, Indore.
Yes, sir. I did my PG from MG Medical College Indore, sir.
And this was your
And
first attempt at NEET SS super specialty,
yes, sir.
right?
I just finished my MD exams 3 months back, and then it was my first try, sir.
Great. That's pretty fantastic. Not to lose a time between getting your DM and finishing your MD. That's how it should be. That's a dream come true. So tell us about
Yes,
your preparation strategies. How did it start? Did you start it right when you entered PG, or it was like a later afterthought that you want to do it or not do it, or were you very clear that yeah, super specialty is the key thing, and that's why you're doing an MD medicine?
sir. I'm clear in thought that I want to do cardiology in future. But in
Okay.
first year residency, it is very hectic. I don't get much time to read anything.
Right.
Even Harrison, I'm not able to read in first year. So
Right.
my reading of Harrison start from second year, sir. And
Okay.
the full thrown MCQ practice and all these things I did after my MD exams in last three
Okay.
months.
So how did doc tutorials? You're a Dr. Ojas Jain is a subscriber of our NEET SS subscription group along with the Q Bank, and he was also part of a couple of our WhatsApp groups. Yeah, unlike a lot of other students, he used to keep a low profile on WhatsApp. He was a hardcore subscriber driven preparing candidate. He was very much into his own studies, the Q Bank solutions, the videos, and then of course appearing for the grand test that we have pan India or dot tutorials. So tell us, Dr. Ojas, how was your strategy batching out and balancing out between your finishing MD syllabus, thinking of cardiology on the other hand, and then starting usage of the NEET SS video subscription, and apart from that the Q banks that you have?
I think, sir, cracking the competitive exam, like multiple choice question, you need to practice MCQs a lot. Even if you know the theory well, if you don't practice MCQs, you don't know where question is going to be asked. So doctor helped me in that way. They let me know that where you should study, where should you focus on, and how is your preparation going on. The Q Bank as well as the Grand Test, both are very helpful in preparation in a way that they give me a hint and direction that where should you lacking and where you should go further, and that's how it is very helpful for me. Not in the It's like the MCQs are like backbone for my preparation. If I don't solve MCQ, I'm not able to go through the topic very well.
Right. So MCQ solving is, of course, one of the key things, but then you would be able to crack the answers only once you know the theory. And that goes on to tell how thoroughly you must have prepared for your Harrison for the preparation of the subject. So, can you tell us
Even
about doc tutorial subscription? How the grand test, how were you faring in those tests? And was it mimicking the NEET SS pattern? And how was it helpful? How was your
I think,
rank?
sir,
And did
the
it match your rank now?
I think that the last grand test I gave, I am able to correct 118 questions, sir. And in the main exam also, I did 117 question right. So it is just the same, and the pattern of the questions also mimicking a lot from the Q bank and in the main exam as well. So I think
Right.
it is not hard, it is not easy, it is just the balance what is needed for us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's how it should be. I mean, that's the clear focus that Dr. Ojas is telling us, that you need to be well defined as to what you're intending to do and how to prepare for it. So, of course, you must have gone through the videos and the lectures that are there on the platform. Dr. Rahul Rajiv's lecture, my lectures, and there are a couple of videos on like the spotters, I mean, the ECGs, which are easily accessible. How were those videos? How did you find them helpful for your preparation?
So I think the key is that you should thorough with your concepts. Wherever I found that I'm not able to match my concepts, what is given in Harrison, then I go through the videos so that I can get a bit of it and what should I know. Then the medicine is so vast, even a simple subject, even a simple topic, you can read through and through all days long. So you need to restrict yourself that what is going to be asked in exams, and you should not push yourself too much into the topic.
So, were you doing the block strategy, as in that you would prepare, say, cardiology, and then go through all whole cardiology from Harrison, then do all the videos, and then do all the MCQs of cardiology, or were you going by chapter, or were you doing it in not as a block, but rather than just go as and when the flow would take you through? So, how was your preparation strategy, balancing out what you read, what you saw, and how you attempted?
So actually, I am a very notorious in that I'm not able to stick to schedule. I always plan something and then I just go out of balance. So I just keep rotating in between subjects like from neurology to cardiology. It's not like that complete cardiology and then I will jump to neurology. In between cardiology, I try to do few questions from neurology. If I get bored, I go through genetics. So it's just a random jump here and there so that I don't get bored out of the subject.
That's a good strategy for somebody who has a short attention span, as they call it. But that's the one way
Right,
of
sir.
in terms of ultimately it's medicine. So as long
Yes,
as
sir.
you're studying, that's what matters. I mean, rather
Yes,
than
sir.
not studying at all, if you're doing, say, a
I
topic in
don't
neurology.
suggest everybody to follow this strategy, but it works for me. I think
No,
I
that's
can't just sit and read a subject continuously. If I
no,
want
but
to
I
study
think
for,
with this strategy, you were also able to do 10, 12 hours of study a day,
yes,
right?
sir.
So
Right,
that
sir.
again is ultimately the sum up. If your brain can sort it out between system, I don't think it's a
Right, sir.
big problem, right? So, what is the tip and important message that you want to do for those who are preparing this year and they will be attempting next year? What is your take home message and what guidance you want to give them?
I
How
think,
they
sir,
should
for
go?
NEET essays, that Harrison is a key book to read. And beside reading Harrison, one should practice MCQs so that you should know what is going to be asked from the Harrisons. Because it is a very beautiful book, but when you start reading it, you don't know what to skip and what to read. And it is very difficult to read it from cover to cover. So, in that way, that MCQs and all these Q banks help you to guide you that where you should focus on. And I think we just get lost in this information. So you should restrict yourself. You should know that Harrison is the only book you should be more focused on instead of going every textbook. I think it is very difficult to go through textbooks like Braunwald or Salsinger uh, through
Yeah, yeah.
cover to cover. I think
Yeah.
it should not be your goal. Your goal should be Harrison only.
Yeah, I think that's a very important thing for somebody like Dr. Ojas, who was very much focused about NEET SS. You should be very clear than going about Salinger or going with Brunwald and just focusing on super specialty books may not actually be very helpful unless you're preparing for INI, which was the
Right, sir.
discussion that we had in the previous session. So there, what people do is that they go complete Harrison still, and they will do the INI for that part of the subject which they
Right.
want to appear. So, like Brunwald, they will do cardiology for, and the rest of the things they will continue to stick to Harrison. So that's the strategy if you're focusing on both. But and very well said by Dr. Ujas. If you're not planning and your only and sole focus is SS only, and you're not intending to appear INI, then I think Garrison has to be thorough from point one to two. So this
Right.
time there were a lot of questions that came from genetics. People were thinking statistics, etc. A lot of questions came from genetics. I mean, were you well prepared, or were you aware, or were the Q banks from genetics that there are 100 questions that odd that we have collected. Were they
Right.
helpful at doc tutorials? How did that help? I mean, a lot of stuff focus was, that was the area which was new, and that differentiated between a ranker and a, bit somebody who was in top in 100 versus somebody who was not. So what's your take on that?
So I think genetics and other topics as well as very important key to get a good rank in the exam. And definitely the that 100 questions give me a hint and give me direction that where you should study. Because when you start reading Harrison, it is like every line, every information is important. It seem to be. But I think that when you solve the MCQs, you get a gist of it. You get to know that yes, it is important. It is not that important. And the doc tutorials MCQ QBank is planned in such a way that if you don't read even Harrison or if you don't know anything about the subject, if you just solve the MCQs, you get an idea of the subject. It is like a journey you can go through without any reading material about the topic. If you are weak in some topic and you just can go through the MCQs, that will be helpful.
Yeah, so we are asked to prepare questions from Harrison, and we every week, I mean, every at on the every month or so, we are supposed to submit new set of questions. We cannot repeat the old questions to the Q Bank,
Right, sir.
and that's how the Q Bank has been built up. And that's what Dr. O just pointed out. Practically, it ends up covering all of Harrison. But again, we will not say that don't read Harrison. We'll always tell you do read Harrison. Questions are there to revise them and test your
Right.
strategy of preparation, and that will help you to actually master the subject as in terms of the entrance exam. So, no INI plans, I am sure, because this rank would give you whatever branch you want, which is cardiology,
Yeah.
of course, as you're saying, and whichever
Yes.
college you want. So, what are you, any plans for INI, or you're not going to appear?
I'm just enjoying, sir, because again, I'm entering into another residency, so no plans for INA right now, sir. I'm just enjoying
Absolutely.
time which have left for me.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll get good seat in the branch of your choice. I think that's very important
Yes, sir.
through the NEET SS itself. So then probably you always knew that you're not going to be preparing for INA and you wanted only for the SS. So that's the one subscription that you chose, because that choice is always given when you apply for the subscription. We want a
Right, sir.
combo. You just want grant test. You want the Q Bank only, and so you chose for a NEET SS with Q Bank and the grant test. So, how are
Yes,
you
sir.
faring in the Grand Test? Grand Test rankings, do they match with your rankings that you got? I mean, was it giving you a fair idea how you were doing in nationally? Because our Grand Tests are usually free and done all across India for all the aspirants. So, was it giving you a fair idea where you are going to be?
Yes, sir. I'm not focusing on rank much in the grand test. My focus is to make most of the MCQs correct in the grand test. So my target was like 125, 130 MCQs I should do correctly. Because in the grand test and even in MCQ part, it is all from most of it from Harrison. So if you are getting about 125, 130 correct, then definitely it is a good score. Though I'm not able to achieve that at any point of time. My base score was 118, and in the exam also I got 117 correct. So yes, if you keep the goal on the MCQ number instead of rank, because rank may vary, you may get good rank but not good in subject. So you should not focus on that. Instead, you should focus on your goal, what you set for yourself.
So I think that's a very important message. So out of 150, you got 117 correct after attempting full 150, and that gets
Yes,
you a 48 rank. That's the gist of the message. I mean, very important message by Dr. Ojas. You need not be striking a strike rate of 100. I mean, you need not have 100% correct, which is now never
right,
going to be the case, because there'll always be some tricky questions coming
right.
in. So, any last moment pro tips that you want to give to all the students? That's first comment I'll take, and then I want you to also share your experience with our doc tutorial teams, the two things that I want your comments from now. So
In
one is, how
last
was your
In last period, sir, I just go through my mistakes which I did in MCQ bank and in my grand test, so that I will not repeat the same in exam. Because once you start reading, it is never ending thing, and you just keep reading and reading, and you don't if you don't follow your mistakes, then you should be doing same mistakes again in the exam. So you should be thorough with your revision also. I think revision is the key. In every interview, you can see the revision thing, but you should follow it.
and your experience with doc tutorials?
Definitely, sir. I think Doc Tutorial is a app where you should get all the MCQs from Harrison and you should follow it thoroughly, sir. I think for a guy like me who is a MCQ guy who just can't read so all the time, So I definitely need MCQs to keep my preparation going.
So nobody actually counters that our Q banks are great, but so is our videos. A lot of people actually talk about our Q banks. Q banks are, of course, the most fantastic, most exhaustive, and most elaborate one. And there'll usually be questions, twisted around them, because if they are all based on Harrison, there is nothing left in Harrison that you cannot
Right,
create a
sir.
question out of. So your point is very valid, but I think the videos also are equally important for learning and understanding and comprehending. And Dr. Ojas already talked about as to how he used to strategize between topics and the videos, and then the questions, of course, the Q bank being the most important one. And there is, of course, the WhatsApp part. There'll be a lot of platforms. I'm sure we are not the only one who will give WhatsApp access to students and the faculty. You are the one who actually, most of the students that I have actually been, the most interactive ones. Was it just to declutter and cut down the noise that you were so silent, used most of the times on the WhatsApp groups with all the groups on all the platforms, or it's that's just you are a social media shy guy?
No, sir, I'm not shy at all. I think I'm the one who keep using social media platforms here and there. So in order to just be focused, I try to avoid them, because once I enter those platforms, I am ending up with doing something else instead of studying. So
That's a very important message.
I need to cut down
That's a very
all these
important
things,
message, actually.
uh,
Yeah.
because
So,
I
a
am
lot of
not a
times
guy
when
who
people
keep
actually
focus.
enroll into just WhatsApp groups, and they will just, instead of just doing the question answer, they may end up on Instagram or
Yes,
Twitter or X,
I
and
am the same guy, sir.
so that way, yeah, it's a good strategy to suggest that avoid just being on WhatsApp, instead be on the platform. If you are one who cannot avoid so Instagram or social media, then better not join other, be more active on those groups, except the couple of groups where you actually are getting mentored. Don't just run around and join multiple groups, because that may be a distraction, is an important message. So it depends on a person to person, because the first
Definitely.
interview that we did, he was like, again, he was also the same, Dr. Ojas. He was only, despite being a full doc tutorial subscriber, he was part of NEET SS, the INI subscription, grant test, everything. But he was focused on cardiology, so he was only in my WhatsApp group, despite being Dr.
Okay.
Rahul Raji, being the chief faculty. And of course, he used to see his videos. But we have around 12 faculties all across, but he was only in one WhatsApp group. So this is very important message that now I am getting as a faculty, that you may have to look out for students who are not so very social media oriented, because they may actually be distracted and they want to limit themselves to it. So thank you, Dr. Ojas. That was a wonderful interaction. Any
Thank you, sir.
last comments? Any last comments?
I think you can get whatever you want, whatever you dreamed of. You just need to stick onto it and just cut down the noises surrounding you, who is stopping you from achieving your dreams. You all have the same capability. And if I can sit here, anybody can sit here and give interview to Dr. Kamal Sharma, sir. I think the cardiology part is definitely, I don't have to look to anything else. Just by watching your videos and from QBank, I am able to solve most of the cardiology questions, sir.
Thank you very much for kind words. And I can promise you that even after this interview, wherever you go, you can always look up to me beyond the doctoral subscription. If I can help you in mentoring in any way throughout your career, it will always be a pleasure for me to support
Thank
you
you,
in
sir.
whatever
Thank you so much.
capacities I can. So thank you very much. That was Dr. Ojas Jain, All India rank 48, and he has shared some very important insight for the NEET SS September 23 medical group preparation, how he did. This may be very different. We've done two interviews today, and both of them had a very fantastic and different approaches about how to go about preparation, including how Dr. Tural has shaped it up. So thank you, Dr. Ojas. Have your moment, have fun, enjoy your
Thank you,
time
sir.
with your family and near and dear ones. Congratulations, and looking forward to meet you personally someday soon. Take care
Thank
and
you,
bye
sir.
bye.
Thank
Good
you so
night.
much.
Good
Bye.
night.
Good night.